Welcome back, folks, to Allergic to Stupidity. My name is Bev, and this is my channel where I get to rant and rave and scream and just vent about the stupidity I get to see out there and maybe sometimes look at things slightly sideways. In today's rant, thank goodness, the humidity has finally broken in southern Ontario because I've spent 3 days on the couch, not really being sick, just nauseous from the humidity, but also not wanting to move because it was that, like, it was 36, 37. I think one of my tenants got a 38 on their dashboard um, temperature gauge. And right now it's raining. And my computer says it's 20 degrees out there. So, in getting to sit there for 3 or 4 days just trying to stay cool and stay hydrated, I got to watch the news a lot and play my games a lot. Wasn't even in the mood to do schoolwork. One of the things that struck me as I'm watching it is how much people just don't understand. Like, literally don't understand other people's cultures or other people's countries. And one of them that really struck me was Donald Trump. And where it really slapped me in the face, figuratively speaking, was he was on the White House lawn getting ready to get in the helicopter, and journalists were asking about the conflict between Israel and Iran. And he lost it and he swore. And I'm not knocking the man for swearing because I'm sure there's a lot of us that would like to use that four-letter word multiple times in about over war zones. Like, is Putin doing? Is Israel doing? Like, I get it, wanting to get that. So it was humorous to hear it coming out of Donald Trump's. And even those left-wing journalists are going, yeah, we don't. He actually let that word go. And it was all tongue-in-cheek, all. It wasn't appropriate for the president of the United States to say, but they could all understand, even like CNN and the left wing journalists were going, yeah. But what his was that these are two countries that have been fighting for decades and decades and decades. And when I checked it, it was the 70s, which part of me goes, that's not that long ago. And the other part of me going, actually, yeah, that is. That's 50 years, roughly. And they just need to come to peace. And his was a very black and white. And I get that. Like, could you just stop fighting, kids, in the classroom? We have math to learn. Like, don't learn, that's fine, but stop bothering everybody else. I get that. But it just, as he screamed and yelled, I thought, he honestly doesn't get this. He doesn't get that it's not black and white. It's not just stop fighting. There is an honest cultural conflict between Israel and Iran. And it has been there for years. And it's not something that is going to be magically solved. And people are always going to get the Nobel Peace Prize because he brokered a peace treaty. There's a couple of the presidents in the United States that have brokered peace treaties. They don't last. And I'm not expecting this one. And some people said it's already been broken. Because Israel is so positive Iran is trying to nuke them that they don't trust Iran at all. And Iran doesn't trust Israel. Did I get that right? Israel doesn't trust Iran because they're positive they're going to nuke. And Iran doesn't trust Israel. And so when you don't trust your neighbors, peace is not going to come easily. Like, if you think about it, it had to be, there was no peace conversations between the United States and Japan. The United States had to bomb Japan to stop that war. We had to annihilate the Nazi regime in Germany to stop that war. Because there wasn't going to be. Because Hitler had proven you couldn't trust. You couldn't talk to him. He'd say A and do B. So the same thing's between Israel and Iran. And yet when I listened to Trump say that, it just dawned on me how much he really doesn't get how not black and white this is. That this is so complex and so culturally entwined, and there are people who've lived in both those countries their whole lives and would now be classed middle-aged, if not old. who have never known to be able to trust the other country. And it's like, wow, that's that reality check. And then when you now, in defense of American friends, and in defense of every American who came up to the tourist town I lived in, because it was a hunting and fishing community in northwestern Ontario, which most of them are. By the way, for any of you, it's Red Lake. Those people are wonderful. They're outside of the occasional jerk, but most of them, 99%. Like I say as a teacher, 99% of my parents are great. It's just 1 out of 100 that I want to punch the shit out of. But there's an arrogance in the United States. And I see it coming out through Trump. And it's not that they just aren't, we're fantastic. They honestly don't get it. That not everybody in this world wants to be an American. Because there's the Statue of Liberty, and lots of people are coming to the United States for a better life. No ifs, no ands, no buts. They're coming to Canada for a better life. For God's sakes, they're coming up from Africa into Europe, into England and Scotland and Wales for better lives. Like, immigration is always initiated because you want a better life. Sometimes it's just, I want something different. It's not necessarily better. But more times than not, when you pack up everything and you leave your family, your friends, your culture to go someplace else, you're looking for a better life. So they have this thing that everybody's coming for the Statue of Liberty, and so they're treating it like everybody thinks the United States is the best country. And so there is that arrogant American attitude that says America is the best. And they're having difficulty comprehending that not everybody wants to live like that. So we get the humorous videos of Americans going to the UK and getting upset because there isn't a man's toilet and a woman's toilet. There are toilets, and it's top to bottom, and you go in and you close the door, and it's like my bathroom in my house. Now, yes, there are toilets, there are bathrooms where it's just, there's the men's, there's the women's, but more and more, it's just a bunch of toilets, and it's floor to ceiling, and you shut the door, and you're just like going into my bathroom in my house, and nobody's going to see me, so it's just literally the toilet. It's like, and it's like everybody gets upset. I'm thinking, but the Americans can't understand why you wouldn't want that. Americans don't understand why you wouldn't want a healthcare system like they have. And it's like, it's not, they're trying to be, they just literally do not understand. Why would you not want to live in Canada, in the US? Because I want to live up here in Canada, or the UK, or France, or Italy, or wherever. Australia looks interesting, but it's too hot for me. I can't take the heat. And then nothing against the US in this comment. I do not know how anybody lives in Florida. I literally do not comprehend that. How do you live in that humidity and that heat? Oh, I couldn't. I can't. 2 days in 30 degree, 35 degree weather here, and I'm going. I say, everybody just leave me alone. Everybody went to their corners in the house for the last couple of days because it's that god awful. So it was just an intriguing thing to listen to it. And so now as you listen to Trump yelling and screaming, you can still go ahead and disagree with him, and I still think he's an idiot. I'm not going to think, but just think about it. Maybe he honestly doesn't understand. I put this offer, like, why are you not taking it? It's a wonderful offer. From his perspective, it's a wonderful offer. So, like, when he sits there and says, I'm going to buy Gaza, and he said, well, it's not livable, so we'll just move you someplace else. He's not understanding. He's literally not understanding that this is their heritage. This is their home. This is their culture. And you're telling them to throw it all out so they can build houses someplace else. And it's not like he's being, yes, it's business, but I honestly don't think he comprehends that part about it's culture, it's history, it's your thing. So lots of people said, well, why'd you buy the house? Well, I bought the house I'm in, my family home. I bought the house because I could, And I was living around the corner anyways in a rental, so I might as well buy the house. My kids were going to the local school already because we moved down a couple of years before my dad passed away. My husband at the time had a job, like it was logical for me to buy the house. But there was another catch. And the other catch, and somebody watching this is going to smile. I literally have pictures of my brother and my sister hammering nails into the floor. My family built this house. And the only reason there's no pictures of me hammering nails into the floor, because mom was pregnant with me at the time. There's pictures of me on the front porch as a little tiny person, but that's it. My kids grew up here. There is that connection. Warren Beatty was once asked why he didn't move his house. He said, you could afford the mansion. He said, this is where all my memories are. And that's what he doesn't understand about Gaza. It's like, but I could build you a big fancy house. And he's not trying to be facetious or nasty or anything. I just honestly don't think Donald Trump comprehends at all that sometimes this is what people want. This is where they're comfortable. This is where they're happy. And Doug Ford did it the other day with me going, oh my God, you an idiot, or go back to being a complete idiot. But when he said it, I went, you don't get it. Because I when I lived in the far north, I did have friends who were Ojibwe. And they were at peace on the land. And he's going, we could set this because there's a Bill C-5 or something. That, no, it's not the federal one in Canada. It's a provincial one that's to open up more land for development. And his is these treaties, these reserves have gold on them. They could be making millions if they just processed and mined their gold or the whatever mineral, right? And I went, first of all, it's treaty land, so because it's treaty land, it's up to them what they do with it. But did you ever think that maybe this is the way they want to live? Because maybe this is the way they want to live. I've had people come up my driveway. Now, understand I own 2 acres in the country, and when I pull up, the maple trees are hanging over, and it's just any stress. Both my son and I have both says, as soon as you pull up the driveway, it's like, yes. And people, we could pave your driveway, it'd be smoother. No thanks. And one guy was we can do it with environmental. I guess I scream environmental here. Well, we could do it with environmental products. I looked at him and said, it's been a country lane for 70 years. It's not going to stop being a country lane because it's what I like. I don't want a paved driveway. I'm not trying to be picky. I'm not trying to be cheap. I don't like a paved driveway. Why is everybody in a big hurry? It's how I like to live. Somebody's offered to buy my house. No. That was several years ago. And the growl face on my face, look on my face is because the gentleman came up and repeatedly asked various people. He never got my face. He did not get my face. For his sanity, thank God. And he wanted to talk to the man of the house. And at the time he said that, my son had answered the door. And he says, I'm interested in buying the house. And my son said, no, Mom's not interested in selling. And my tenant came around the corner. And he said, sir, just what I needed. I'm looking for the man of the house. And my tenant, who happens to be my ex, knew exactly where it's going. He said, I don't own the house. She owns the house, and she's a friend of mine, and I'm renting a room from her. Well, can I talk to the man of the house? I want to buy this place. And he just looked at him and says, she likes it just the way it is. She's not selling the house. But people have this set mind of that's the way they like to live. So therefore, that's the way it's supposed to be. So the next time you're watching Donald Trump, which is the short and curlies of this whole chit chat, is, it's hard to say this, but put yourself in his shoes and think, maybe he just doesn't understand. Like he says, well, why not put your kid in a public school, in a private school? Because maybe I don't want to put my kid in a private school. Maybe I like to support the public schools. Or maybe I want to homeschool my child. But he can't comprehend that. And it's not like he's trying to be nasty. Yeah, sometimes he is. But he's so close-minded about how the way things should be that he's not like, yes, he's being nasty and thingy, but I think part of it is that he also just doesn't understand. Like, not just flip it. Like, it's not like my grade 6 student not understanding how to do calculus. It's that it's a grade 6 student not understanding why they need to know the multiplication facts, even though I can show them, and I can show them at their level why they need to know it, and I can give them real life examples and do real life examples with them on why they need to know their multiplication facts. But that kind of is, they just don't want to do it. I just don't think he really he can't put himself in somebody else's shoes to understand why things need to be done in a way that's different than his, or why people want to do it a different way than his. Like Scotland, he was going to bring this beautiful golf course, and he wanted to buy some land, and the old farmer, who's it's family land, guy said, nope, not selling. And he got mad, like literally, like he put great big pounds of dirt in front of this man's property so that the man couldn't see the ocean. And the man went, you can bully all you want, I'm not selling your property. Trump couldn't understand why he wouldn't want to sell property. You're living on an old Scottish land farm, and the farm is falling apart or whatever. Why would you not want to sell it? And he wasn't just trying to be that arrogant business person, which this not being able to see the other person's side, maybe why he was never really a successful business person. That business person is all about money, that he can't understand why you wouldn't want to sell. Anyways, just a perspective. I hope this ramble made sense to everybody. Take care, and again, my name is Beth. This is my place to rant and rave. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit like, please hit subscribe, and share if you think somebody might enjoy it. Take care.